Welcome back to Ant Lab Games, everyone. So we are going to pick up on our second patrol assignment for Kapitan Lieutenant Stubing in the U-27 U-boat. So it is now November 1939, and we are awaiting our U-boat patrol assignment from command. Rule 6, we are assigned another British Isles patrol, standard. So this will be a familiar assignment. We should know the route, and hopefully we'll have more luck this round with some more tonnage, maybe come across a convoy. Who knows, we'll see. So we will set off in our first round of transit, see if we can get out to the British Isles safely. Okay, so we are in transit. And we roll a 6. No aircraft spotted us, so we will move into the second transit location and see if we can go undetected again. And we roll a 10, so a 10 is also no contact. So we are good to move into the British Isles. So we will push into the first patrol point within the British Isles and see what we encounter. Okay, so British Isles, what do they have for us? We roll a 10, and a 10 in the British Isles is a convoy. So for a convoy, we are going to come across 4 escorted ships. Let's see what those ships are. All right, first thing we'll do is we'll roll the time of day, and we get a 1, so it is daytime, which is going to pose to be a little bit challenging, but let's go on and see what each of our ships is going to be in size. So for our first ship, we have a tanker. Second ship, we have a large freighter, another large freighter, and a small freighter. So small, 2 large, and a tanker. Very nice. Okay, let's ID the small freighter to start. And we've got a 67, which is the Goncalves Diaz 5,000 ton small freighter. Very nice. Now we have 2 large freighters to ID, and they will be the 71 is the Empire Comet at 6,900, and 60 is the Vancouver Island at 9,500 tons. 2 huge ships. And finally, we ID our tanker, 35, which is the Davinger at 7,100. Alright, so we have our the 4 ships that we're in range of in the convoy. Now we're only seeing a portion of the convoy, just these 4 ships within it. We know the convoy is certainly escorted. But we are only going to target, or at least fire at, 2 of these targets. One being the Davinger tanker, and the second target being the large freighter Vancouver Island at 9,500 tons. So that's a huge take. So since all of these tankers and large freighters are less than 10,000 tons, they're only going to take 3 damage to sink, and our small freighter taking 2. So we're going to ignore these 2 guys and just focus fire on these. Now it's daytime. We have the option to wait till night, but we could potentially lose sight of the convoy if we do that. So we're absolutely not coming in at close range. I haven't yet decided what range we are going to attack, but we do want to find out the quality of the escort. So that's a random die roll. So we are going to see on a roll of 4. In 1939, these are considered trained escorts. So there's no bonus or penalties. So it's just a standard escort. So we'll add that to the chart. Right, so we know they're escorted. It's standard. So we have to now decide at what range we do want to attack. I would assume we're probably going to come in at medium range. Submerged, absolutely. so we're only going to be able to fire torpedoes. Alright, so for our first attack, we are going to fire 3 torpedoes at the large freighter and 1 torpedo, all from the forward torpedoes tubes, and 1 at the tanker. We are not going to dive to test, below test depths after this, so we're going to do standard evasion. We are at medium range during the day, so we are going to see what happens. Okay, since we are at medium range, not close, we get to fire before they get a chance to detect us, so at least we get the torpedoes out. So, but however, we are going to get a penalty on detection because we are using the G7As, which are steam torpedoes, so they can see the bubbles during the day. So we fired, let's resolve the one we shot at the tanker. We roll an 11, and we're at medium range, so 8 or more is a miss. So the tanker is a miss. Now we've got 3 going to the large freighter, right? Going to the Vancouver Island freighter. So we get 3, so we roll a 6. At medium range, 7 or less is a hit, so the first one hits. 6. Second one hits. 7. 7 or less hit. So all 3 hit. Now let's check for duds. So the first one is a dud. Second one is good. Third one is good. So 2 of my 3 torpedoes explode. Let's check for damage. So we've got 2. We'll roll 2 torpedo damage because we had 2 hits that were not duds. And we roll 2 1s. And 2 1s is 4 damage each. So that's 8 damage we just did to this large freighter. Now with those critical torpedo hits, the Vancouver Island has been sunk. 9,500 tons. We missed the tanker, but we at least got one of them. So it cost us 4 steam torpedoes. Alright, so now we have to see if the escort has detected us. Alright, let's make sure that we don't have any modifiers here. So the only one that I believe applies is the G7A torpedoes during the day. So it's going to be +1 to my roll. We're not at close range. It's not a night attack. We didn't fire forward and aft in the first round. And we're not at long range. We decided not to exceed test depth. So let's go ahead and see if they were able to detect us. So we rolled a 6 plus 1 is 7. 8 or less undetected, so we've not been detected this round. Awesome. Okay, so now we have an option. So we can attempt to follow. So we were undetected. We could pretty much go away, but I'd like to sink some more ships, honestly. So we can attempt to follow. It'd be easier if we had damaged one of their ships, so we could hopefully try to pick off one of the wounded. But since we haven't damaged any, they are escorted. We got to see if we were able to follow them. So we roll a 1d6. We get a 5. So if it's a 5, a success is a 1 to 4. So we were unsuccessful in following the convoy. So the encounter ends. But at least we got one of them, and we got the biggest one of them. So I think that was overall success. So we're going to reload the sub, and we will move on to our next patrol route. Alright, so we're going to put steam and 3 electrics in. And this will be the end of our steam for the forward tubes. We're getting low on torpedoes. So we're going to move into the next leg, second leg in the British Isles, and see what we encounter here. So we roll a 6. And a 6 is 1 ship plus an escort. Let's see what we find. Alright, so time of day is nighttime, which is good. The ship size is a 1, so it's a small freighter, which is pretty bad. And we need to identify this freighter. Okay, so the small freighter is the 78, which is the Frederica Lenson, 4,400 tons. Not too bad. Okay, so it's nighttime. We've got our small freighter. And we are going to see if we can take a pot shot at the Frederica Lenson submerged. So we're going to go submerged. We're going to do it at medium range, and we're going to fire just torpedoes. So we are going to hopefully get a shot off. And we're going to use 3 electrics, I think. So these should not be, you should not get penalized for these. So we're going to fire 3 electric. We're only going to need 2 hits on this. But it's going to be more of a hit and run, I think. Just like last time. Well, last time we kind of wanted to follow it, but this time we only have 1 target, so I think that's what we'll do. So now we're going to have to, we'll take our shots. Okay, remember, so we are a medium range, so we get to fire first, and we are submerged, and we are firing 3 G7E torpedoes, which are the electrics. So we're going to get penalized. +1 to the modifier at medium range. So we need a 7 or less to hit. Remember, we get +1. So roll. So that's an 8. That's a miss. That's an 8. That's a miss. And that's a 5 + 1 is 6. That's a hit. So one of ours hit. Test to see if it's a dud. We roll a 3. It's not a dud. So we got 1 hit. And now we get to roll for damage. And I roll a 1. 4 damage. Wow, these are nice rolls on damage. So 4 damage is more than enough to sink our small freighter. 3 G70 torpedoes are now been expended. Have been spent, and now we have to hopefully evade the escort. So let's see if they can detect us. Okay, so we are not going to have any penalties, but we do have to roll for the escort quality. So we roll a 4, and a 4 tells us that our escorts are going to be the same as they were trained, so they're just standard escorts. So they don't get any bonuses, and we don't get any bonuses. So we now just get to see if we roll an 8 or less, we can get out of here unscathed. And we roll a 10, and that's not good. So we've been detected. Horrible. Okay, so detection is not good because now there's depth charges coming down. And we have to determine what exactly is going to happen to us. So I rolled a 5. So a 5 is 1 hit. So we took 1 hit. Not terrible. But now, I mean, we didn't have any modifiers, so that's good. So now we have to see what type of damage our U-boat is going to take. Alright, so we need to roll 2d6s to determine what sector or section of our U-boat was damaged in the attack. So 55 is hull. So we took hull damage, 1 hull damage. Alright, probably not the worst outcome. So we'll take 1 hull damage. Could have been far worse than that, believe me. Okay, so now we are stuck in the cycle of trying to get away. So as we're running away from this escort, you know, he's dropping depth charges on us. So he's going to get his attacks, we'll resolve them, and then he's going to try to detect us again, and hopefully we can get away. So I could try to, you know, test my my depth. You know, exceed my test depth to add some modifiers onto here, but I'm not going to do that just yet. So maybe if we can get under 8, you know, we can get out of here. So we roll another 10, so he's going to get another shot on us. Great. All right, so he's going to do his attack, and he rolls a 3, ineffective. Wow, that was a great roll. So, all right, so he missed. His depth charges missed, but now we're going to try to avoid detection again. And we roll an 11, and that's fantastic. So he found us again. Now he's going to get to roll attack. He rolls a 4, 1 hit. Let's roll for damage. And we roll a 54, which is flooding times 2. That's not good. So we'll bring our flooding up. Alright, back to the evasion. We rolled a 4, 8 or less undetected, so we finally get away. So that ends this encounter, and we can sort of lick our wounds before the next patrol route. Okay, so flooding, fortunately, is taken care of as soon as combat's over, so that's been fixed. Hull damage is permanent until we get back to port, so we can't fix that at sea. Load our final torpedo. We don't have much left, so not terrible. I think we could have been a lot worse, and I think we made out okay. So at this point, I think we're ready to move on to the next patrol point. So let's see what happens. All right, the final leg of the British Isles. Let's see if U-27 can get one more kill before having to go back to port. And we roll a 10. And a 10 is a convoy. Oh boy. Alright. Time of day. 2. It's daytime. And we're going to have 4 ships like we did last time. So we've got a small freighter, another small freighter, 5 is a large freighter, so 3 small freighters and a large freighter. Okay, let's ID our large freighter. The 23 is the Protesilaus, 9,600 tons. Alright, we've got 3 small freighters. So we've got the Aviemore, 4,000 tons. We've got the Baron Decmont at 3,700 tons. And we've got the Thurlby at 4,900 tons. Alright, so there we go. I think we know which one we're going after. Okay, so we have to do a submerged attack without question. But I think I'm going to go at long range. It's daytime. I'm going to fire, definitely going to fire at just the large freighter, right? So everything out of the forward torpedo tubes. I've got 1 steam and 1 electric. I'm going to fire the aft torpedoes as well. Even though that's going to make us easier to detect, I think this is our last encounter, so we want to get the best of it, and I want to make sure that freighter goes down. And we are at long range, so that may negate it just a bit. It should offset. So let's do it. We're going to get this shot off, and hope we connect. All right, let's see. Remember, we're at long range. We fired 3 torpedoes, so let's do the G7E first, the electric torpedo, right? Because we're going to get a +2 modifier on that at long range, which is not good. So we need a 6 or less to hit, and we get a +2 modifier. So we've rolled an 8, that's just an absolute miss. So nothing there. So now we've got to roll just a 6 or less on these last 2 steam torpedoes. So it's an 11, that's a miss, and a 3, that's a hit. So one of them hit. See if it was a dud, and it was a dud. Okay, that's great. So, not one of our torpedoes exploded. Awesome. We've got literally 1 torpedo left. So, we need to test detection now. So, We are at long range, so they do get a -1 penalty. But we did fire forward and aft in the first round, so it's a +1. So those negate. So I need an 8 or less to go undetected. And we rolled a 7, so we are undetected. We will end the encounter and slink away. Alright, so what we're going to do is move into the next transit space and hope we get back to port. So we'll roll for the last 2 transit encounters. I rolled an 8, nothing happens. And for the last box, we roll a 10. Again, not sighted by aircraft, so we make it back to port successfully. Okay, so now we are going to refit. So we've completed our second successful patrol mission, and we netted 13,900 tons. Not too bad, an improvement over the first round. But we did sustain 1 hull damage, so that's going to add another month to our refit. So instead of just 1 month in port, we're going to have to spend 2 months in port this time. So our next patrol won't be until February of 1940. So we will conclude the video. I think we did pretty good that round. We got away pretty well. I think one more success and we'll be able to do some promotions. So overall a successful run for Kapitan Lieutenant Stubing and his crew of the U-27. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we will continue on our 3rd patrol in the next video. So if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe, and I will see you next time.